Alright, so this is weighted average notes, locating points by using weighted averages. So a weighted average is an average of a set of numbers where certain numbers have more value or weight than others. The best way I can explain this to you is how I explained it to them last class. Like, y'all grade in my class is weighted. Like, I have different categories for different stuff in this class. Like, for example, your tests are worth 50% of your grade. Tests and quizzes. And then all your assignments are worth 40%. And then your notebook / the participation you have in my class is worth 10%. So based on whatever category I put an assignment in, the grade holds more weight. Like, the test category holds the most weight. So any grade I put in there is going to move your grade the most. And then a lot of times, like, I've even had kids in the past, like, they'll make up an assignment and I put it in, and they be like, oh, my grade only went up 1 or 2 points. I was like, yeah, it's not going to move that much if I put it in the assignment category, because we got like 20 assignments in the assignment category. Even looking on the board, just from this unit right here, we got at least, that's like 10 assignments y'all owe me. Maybe 11 or 12, I don't know. It might be 12. Those are all going in the assignment category. And then I'm going to put one test for this unit in the test category. So even with those assignments being in that 40% category, like, it's so many of them that when I put grades into that category, your grade doesn't move that much. But if I put that one test in, your grade will move a lot more because it's one test in a category that weighs a lot more. So that's kind of what it is. Weighted averages, like, one side has more weight than the other, and that's pretty much it. I mean, the more y'all get into it, when y'all get into to other math, statistics, and probability and stuff like that, you'll understand it more. But it's essentially what it is. We're just doing it on a number line, weighting a number line versus each other, or on a coordinate plane. We'll do it on a graph, on a segment. All right. So the first example here, an example of an iron bar has 2 metal balls on the end. You got a 1 pound ball on this end, you got a 2 pound ball on this end, with different weights. Where should the triangle be placed to balance the bar, A, B, or C? So to figure that out, we're going to do a weighted average. The formula here is right here. The formula for weighted average is weight 1 times x1. X1 is just your first point, plus weight 2 times x2, which is your second point. And then at the bottom, you're going to divide by the 2 weights added together, and that'll give you your weighted average. Remember, midpoint is just taking an average, so that's why this formula looks similar to the midpoint formula. But weighted average, you kind of have to use the weights and then add in. This formula is very similar to the midpoint formula if you think about it. Specifically, this one further down, that looks more like it, just with more stuff added in. But it's essentially kind of the same in that respect, except for you multiplying by a weight in front of your numbers. All right. So down here, they put the numbers on our little segment here so we can see where the 1 pound weight is and where the 2 pound weight is. We're going to need to see that. That's going to be our x1 and x2. So taking this off the figure, we're going to label. My first weight to the left here is 1. Under that weight, the x1, the point of where it's at is at -1. My second weight is 2. The point over there, that's under it, is 2. So using those numbers, all I did was pull this off the figure and label them. I'm going to use the weighted average formula right here. I'm going to plug those numbers in. So starting out, my weight 1 on top is 2 times, and then my x1, which is -1, so I'm going to put a parentheses right there. Then the plus sign goes here in the middle. Weight 2 is 2 times, oh, I started out wrong. Why nobody correct me? My weight 1 was 1. I don't know why I wrote a 2 right here. I was trying to test y'all to see if y'all was going to say something. Nobody said nothing. Y'all all failed. That's supposed to be a 1. My bad. starting out wrong. And then the x2 right here is 2. On the bottom, you add the two weights together. So it'll be weight 1, which is 1, plus weight 2, which is 2. So that's what it should look like written out. Once again, this is a 1. It was a typo. Alright. Once you get it set up correctly, and I would always go back and check at the end to make sure you did it, because you see I even made a mistake starting out. That's good that actually happened, so you can see that you're not going to be the only ones to make mistakes. But I will go back and check real quick at the end to make sure I wrote my numbers incorrect, because if not, it's going to throw your whole math off. But I'm good. So from there, I'm actually do the math. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, plus 2 times 4, 2 times 2, I'm sorry, is 4. On the bottom, 1 plus 2 is 3. And then from there, negative 1 plus 4 is positive 3. And then on the bottom, you already had 3. So it's 3 divided by 3. So my answer is 1. So zooming out just a little bit, they asked me where should the weight go. The weight on this one should go here. A little triangular weight that they had up top. Alright, that's essentially what we're doing. The next two is similar to this one that I just did. It's just dealing with X values on a segment, on a number line. I'll leave that there for those who write slow. Find the value of the coordinates of point P that represents the weighted average of point C and D. This is how most of them will look like this. Worded like this. Point C weighs twice as much as point D. So on here, all my stuff is already pretty much put on the line. I just need to understand what I got. They said point C weighs twice as much as point D. So on top of C, I'm gonna put a weight of 2 up there. Top of D, I'm gonna say that's 1, because they said C weighs twice as much as point D. I'm gonna zoom back in. I was just waiting on my kids to write slow. Then from there, I'm gonna just label to make sure I'm good. So my weight 1 is gonna be 2. Under that weight, my x1 is gonna be negative 1. And that's where my point is, the actual location. Then my weight 2 is going to be 1, and my x2 is going to be at 5. Using those same numbers, I'm using the formula up top that we're looking at. So WA, my weighted average, I'm not writing that whole word out, equals, and then it's W1, my weight 1, 2 times my x1, which is negative 1, plus, and then my weight 2, which is 1, times my x2, which is 5. On the bottom, need to do 2 plus 1, add the weights together. Once you get to that point, you can just do the math. So negative 2 plus 1 is negative 2, plus 1 times 5 is 5. On the bottom, 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 2 plus 5 is It's going to be 3. On the bottom, 3. Got 3 over 3 again, we get 1. So on this one, it's telling me my point for my weight should be at, my weighted average should be at 1. To me, it's kind of a mix of partitioning and midpoint. That's what it feels like to me. You already know I don't plan on doing every problem. Number 2, y'all do that, I'm coming around. You got 2 examples there if you just took your notes like you should have. Use those, figure out how to do number 2. Alright, so this is what my number 2 looks like. Let me just show you once again. This is what a lot of y'all look like too, which is good. I labeled weight 1 was 1, x1 was -1, weight 2 was 3, x2 was 11. Put it in the formula, and I multiply it on top. Got -1 plus 33. On the bottom, 1 plus 3 was 4. And on top, 32. On the bottom, 4. 32 divided by 4 is 8. My point P would have been there. Why that's happening? Like I told you, it's not gonna get much different than this. I don't want to. What we're about to do is pretty much the same stuff. It's just that now, instead of having just a x1, x2 on a number line, now you're going to be on the coordinate plane. So you know you got 2 points, and then you know it's x1, y1, and then the second point will be x2, y2. Same as what we've done before. So all we're essentially doing with the formula is putting a comma in the middle, and we add the other piece on the other side with the y's on there this time. So you got to do x's and the y's. It's the same thing though. Only thing is, to help you kind of stay clean and line up, I'm gonna line this up a certain way. You could take it my way, or if you find a better way for yourself, you can do it however you want. But I'm gonna just show you my way. And I can't even really claim this. I like to give credit where credit is due. We were trying to figure out how the best way to teach this, and one of my co-teachers came up with kind of lining it up like this, and I liked it, so I used it. So I want to give him his credit. I don't want to take credit for somebody else's work. I ain't never been that person. Alright, find the coordinates of P that represents the weighted average of each set of, I don't know what I'm doing, I like just zoom out, points. So this is on the graph. So you should obviously know that you got to pull your coordinates off the graph, but y'all know how to read coordinates now, which is good. And then they say point D weighs twice as much as point E. I'll worry about that after I get my coordinates written down. Oh. Tell you what point D at. Monte, yeah. What point D? I'm gonna try to color code too for y'all, so hold on. Well, you said -4. Comma 2. Alright. E. Yeah, 2 -2. Other thing I want to put on here is my weights. I'm going to put them out here next to this. So it said point D weighs twice as much as point E. So my weight 1 for point D is going to be 2. My weight 2 for point E is going to be 1. So now I'm going to use this formula up here and plug my numbers in. Don't write too big because you're going to need the space. Oh, this is my WA formula that I'm using. So weight 1 is going to be 2 times my X1. And this is why I lined up too. I forgot to tell y'all this. The reason I lined it up like this so I can have my X's together. These are my two X values right here. -4 and 2. And then I lined up over here, so these are my Y values, 2 and -2. Alright. What's up, bro? So you see how it says point D is twice as much as point E? Twice means 2 to me. So next to point D, I'm going to put weight 1. That first weight is going to be 2. It weighs twice as much. And then if it weighs twice as much as point E, that means the weight for point E has to be 1. Then my weight 2, which is 1, times my other X value, which is 2. Then we got to divide that by our 2 weights added together, 2 plus 1. I'm taking my time too because I want to make sure I put my numbers in right. And then on the other side we deal with the Y's. So it's going to be 2 times my Y value, which was 2, plus 1 times my other Y value, which is -2. Divided by 2 plus 1 again. Alright, so take a second, make sure you put your numbers in correct. Then if you're good, solve it. This looks good. Got my X's in the right spot, my Y's in the right spot. Got my weights in the right spot. We good. Parentheses. 2 times -4 is -8. Plus 1 times 2, which is 2. Over 2. I mean, not over 2. Over 3. Comma. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2, -2 is -2. Over 3. And we're now cleaning this up. -6 on top, divided by 3. And then 2 on top, divided by 3. Simplest form, -6 divided by 3 is -2. So -2, comma. And then 2 over 3, you can't simplify that anymore. It's just 2 over 3. So that's the answer I would give, -2, comma, 2 over 3 for my point for the weighted average. Like I told them last class too, this is probably, as far as like how the answer looks, most similar to the one that I chose for the test. I can tell you, one on test, you're going to have a whole number and then a fraction. You got to make sure you make it look like that. Khalil, why your laptop back on? No need for that today. I told them last class, I'm going to just keep going. I mean, it ain't nothing but just practicing this. It don't get no different. The more we practice, the better it's going to go. What's up? With what now? No. Yeah, some points are just on there. We ain't even gonna mess with. Actually, on number 4, we do something with F. So that on the original notes that we had made, they had like both of those bunched up right there in that same spot, and there wasn't enough space. So I moved that one, the next part, to the back. This is basically part 2 of it. I just moved to the back and threw the same graph on the back. So we're gonna use F. Just gonna do it on number 4. It's the same graph as you looked up for, but now we're doing point F and point D. Alright. So in this one, F is at, I don't know where that's at. What's that, 5, -4? Yeah. So 5, -4. And then D is still in the same spot it was before, which was -4, 2. Oops. So this one says F weighs 3 times as much as point D. So my weight 1 for F would be 3. Weight 2 for D would be 1. I don't want you to always think the other number is gonna be 1 though. So I'm gonna show you one where it ain't. You just gotta read. You can have one that's like 3 and 2, 4 and 3. They can do whatever weights they want. Just read and it'll tell you what they're doing. So don't get used to being one number and 1 being 1. That's not an actual thing. From there, I'm just plugging numbers in. Make sure I'm writing it correctly. I start out with my first weight, 3 times, then my x1, which is 5, plus. I'm telling you, all this is repetition. I'm getting better the more I teach it. My weight 2, 1 times my x2, which is -4. So it's just something you're gonna have to practice to. It is what it is. Divided by my weights added together, 3 plus 1, comma. On the other side, my weight 1 times my y1, which is -4. And maybe we should do that. Maybe I'll do that for now. Plus my weight 2 times my y2, which is 2, divided by my weights added together, 3 plus 1. Like I said, I take my time on that part because I don't want to. You mess that up, and you mess the whole problem up. This is the whole thing right here, putting the numbers in the right spots. And matter of fact, I ain't think about this till now. We should do what I've always done. I could label these too, like we've always done. X1, X2, Y1, Y2. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. Parentheses, just doing the math now. 15 plus -4 divided by 4. On this side, -12 plus 2 divided by 4. 11/4 comma, negative 10 over 4. So on this one, neither one of these will divide and give me a whole number. But I do see that I can reduce 10 over 4, negative 10 over 4. So make sure you simplify if you can. Most of you won't have to, especially on these. They usually, if it's improper, it's already in simplest form, but every once in a while you have one like this where you got to reduce it. So I will reduce that, and I make this 11 over 4, comma, negative 5 over 2. That's it for them. Just keep going. At some point, it's gonna kick. I'm gonna leave that one there. I'm gonna go on to the next one. Label. It's the same thing over and over. It's just performing that act. This next one, they gave me my 2 points at the end. Q is at 4. Let me do this correctly. Comma, parentheses, 5, or 12 and 1. My next one, reading it says point Q is 3 times the weight of point R. This is X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So weight 1 times X1 plus weight 2 times X2 divided by my weights added together, comma, weight 1 times Y1 plus weight 2 times Y2 divided by 3 plus 1. After that, just doing the math again. I don't know why I made my parentheses that big. That's weird. Whatever. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 12 is 12. On the bottom, got 4, comma. 3 times 5, 15. 1 times 1 is 1. On the bottom, you got 4. Yeah, I made parentheses way too big. Whatever. After that, adding those together, that's 24 over 4, comma, 16 over 4. Cleaning that up, that's going to be 6, comma, 4. Do number 6. Alright, we back. This is what I did on number 6. Oh, so now that's right. Now, if you made a mistake, figure out what you did wrong. I said at this point, it's just plugging numbers in, man. The formula's on the front. If you don't want to flip back to the front, I wrote it on the board too. Just labeling and plugging in. That's it. Should I do number 7 with you? Yeah, that's the last one I'm gonna do. I don't feel like it, but I'll do it. Y'all could easily do it. Alright. You can go back and fix that if you ain't fixed it. I'll come back to it later if you need it. Number 7. Same thing. Ain't nothing changed. It's just that on this one, reason I want to show you this one, if you look, this line is on the graph horizontally. For those who actually know what graphs are actually doing, like, you should know that there's no change in my y values. That's why the line is on there horizontally. The only thing that changes is my x values. Like, on this line, my y value, no matter what point you pick, is always going to be 3. So that's where it's at, on 3 on the y-axis, on the y. The change is in x. It goes from -5 to +3. That being said, even though they want me to do weighted average on this one, I really don't have to do the y values on this one because they're not going to change. I'm even going to calculate it out and show you that it's not going to change. But I could only stick to doing the x, but I'm going to do both. All right. So my first point, S, is at -5, 3. Second point, T, is at 3, 3. The problem says S weighs 4 times as much as point T. So weight 1 for S would be 4. My weight 2 for my T would be 1. I'm just using the formula again, man. Like I said, it's just going to be a practice thing for y'all. You got to use the formula. WA equals parentheses. Looking at the formula, it's right on the board if you need it once again. My weight 1, which is going to be 4, times, oh, I didn't label. I'm sorry. This helps y'all too. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. This will help some of y'all. Make sure you label. My weight 1 times my X1, which is -5, plus weight 2, which is 1 times 3. Divided by my weights added together, 4 plus 1. Then I need to do the y's. Weight 1, which is 4 again, times my y1, which is 3, plus weight 2, which is 1, times my other y2, which is 3 as well. And that's being divided by my weights added together, 4 plus 1. Close parentheses. Once you make sure you put your numbers in right, which you need to make sure you did, then you can do the math. WA equals, that's negative 20 plus 3 divided by 5. Then you got 12 plus 3 divided by 5. Negative 20 plus 3 is 17, negative 17 over 5. On this side, 12 plus 3 is 15 over 5. Cleaning that up. Can't reduce negative 17 over 5, and it's not a whole number, so I'm going to leave it like this. 15 divided by 5, you should know it's 3. Like I said, your Y value wasn't going to change at all anyway, because it's on there horizontally. You were going to get 3 from the get-go. I just wanted to show you that even if you calculate it out, you're still going to get 3. But I knew that from the get-go because it was on here horizontally. One thing that was going to change was like, so we could have just stuck to doing this side right here on this one. They got away with it. Alright. That's pretty much it for me. Like I said, it's just going to be practice, man. I got to practice it. That's the only way you're going to get it. The practice is pretty straightforward, the same stuff. One thing I will show you on practice, let me find mine that I did earlier. Just so you can understand that not all your weights are going to be something in one. On number 4 on practice, I went on kind of started just set up on that one. On number 4 on the practice, I got point P and point R. They said point P had a weight of 2, point R had a weight of 3. Those are my 2 weights. You probably could have read that for yourself, but I want you to see that not all the weights will be something versus 1. It'll be whatever they tell you. It could be 5 and 2, it could be 3 and 4, it could be whatever weights they tell you, no matter. Just use that, use the formula, solve. Alright.